Question of the day. What was your first game that you played in the hobby genre that you didn't know was a hobby game? Let me explain what I mean. There used to be a game back in the day called Star Wars Epic Duels. It was amazing. We loved it. We played it literally all the time. It was one of the best board games we ever had. Have no clue what happened to it. I wish I could find it to this day. However, I thought that was lost and gone forever. In fact, while on the road at a show one time, I and another guy were talking about, oh man, we used to play this game. It was Star Wars, and you would fight each other and be like, oh, that's the greatest game ever, right? I had stumbled onto this genre called hobby gaming. Didn't even know it because it was by Milton Bradley. This is Star Wars Epic Duels, and Rob Daviau and everybody made it. But it was by Milton Bradley, so I didn't know it. You could pick it up at Walmart and play it. It was Star Wars, right? Little standees and Jango Fett and Obi-Wan from Episode 2. Great stuff, right? But I thought that game was lost forever. Thought I could never get a copy because it was insanely expensive until Restoration Games came along with Unmatched. This is the system from that. It's been restored due to the restoration process. Unmatched is, in fact, that same game restored with some restoration magic. This is Battle of Legends. This is Volume 1. The four fighters in here would be King Arthur, Medusa, Alice, that's right, from Wonderland, and Sinbad. No, not the comedian, although he is hilarious. This would be the pirate. This is awesome to get to experience a reimagining of this. So let's see if it holds up, if the game holds up in modern day, if it's any good, and if it lives up to the original, how much I loved it, and all the sort of things that I just mentioned combined. Right now. All right, so what's in Unmatched right now? To be fair, I'm not going to scatter this all over because I wanted to show you how incredibly organized this is. I really love this about this game. It's the fact that it comes organized already. Everyone has a token that goes with their figure. So this would be, I think, the, oh gosh, what is it? The Porter. So you have the Porter, the Jabberwocky, Merlin, and then the Harpies. So they all have a side character that comes with them. Notice that all the decks are different. The back of them, the art is fantastic. The miniatures, check this out. So they all have a nice miniature, but they've all been washed. So all the details pop. So it's not just the resin or the plastic. It's got a nice black wash on there. So the detail just pops out so incredibly good. So here's Medusa. That was King Arthur. Here's Medusa. That's right, snakes for hair. What a terrible way to live your life, you know? Alice, she looks a little different than last time. You know, she's gonna kick some tail. That's good. And then of course Sinbad here. Really love this sculpt. Just fun, man. Just a fun sculpt. So everybody gets the miniatures and everybody gets a deck of cards. Now the way this works is, oh, and then you also get a life counter for you and for your little buddy there. So maybe Merlin and King Arthur. All these cards are pretty similar to each other roughly, but everybody has certain special powers that only that player has. So all the decks are going to feel different. All the characters will feel different, even though they still stick to the basic formula of Unmatched. On your turn, you're going to do one of three things on this map. Now there's two sides to this map. I'll show you here. Pretty basic, pretty simple. Looks like there's a ship here that Sinbad might be coming in and taking over. Obviously this person's stone head fell off, so Medusa's been wreaking havoc. And then back here, it looks like some Wonderland action here in the Rose Garden, painting the roses red. So on your turn, you're going to take your miniature wherever you start from versus whoever you're fighting, and you're going to move along. If you choose to move, it would be maneuver. So you draw a card. You have a hand limit of 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We'll go with 6 for now. You'll draw up to 7, boom, or you'll draw a card, and then you'll move your character up to your move speed. Now everybody's got a certain card which tells them certain information about their character. You know, Merlin is ranged, King Arthur's melee. It tells you the starting health, their movement value, everything that you're going to need to know, basically, like some powers about them. So King Arthur attacks, you may boost the attack instead of just boosting his movement, which is another thing you can do. But when you scheme, you're going to draw a card, then you're going to move your figures, and that would be Merlin as well, up to your move value. Now, if you wanted to boost it, you can discard one of the cards in your hand to add the boost value here. At the end of your turn, you do have to draw back down to 7 cards. That's important. The next thing you can do is scheme. So any of these cards that have a scheme symbol on them, you could play those cards. So search your deck and discard pile for the Excalibur card, add it to your hand. If you search your deck, shuffle it. So you would pull the Excalibur card out here. Where'd that go? That's in here somewhere. There it is. Obviously, it just is a ton of damage. When you do combat, you're going to lay your card out there, your attack card. You're going to declare your attacker, declare the target, play the card, so this is worth 6 damage. If the defender chooses to use a defense card, they could. It would be right here. You could take away 4 damage off that attack, and whatever's left over you'll still do damage for. But all the characters play different. So like I say, Alice can turn big or small depending on how you play her, and that gives her an attack bonus if she's big, gives her a defense bonus if she's small. The porter just kind of helps lug stuff around and move around for old Sinbad there. Just a lot of cool things, you know. On the back of these are reference cards, so it just really is fun that you can do a lot of things that feel unique to each player, yet they're not super difficult. I mean, look how small the map is. For instance, the idea of this is to be quick, fast, fun version of a fighting game that gets you to the table quick. But that is the basic rules. When you attack someone and get them down to 0 damage, you are the winner, and that's it. There's no special objectives or anything. You're fighting to the death, fighting to the pain, I guess it were. And whoever wins is the person who knocks the other person out first. A lot of things coming for this game. I can't wait to see even more, but the 4 characters that are in here do have a lot of really neat things that they just add to it. So like Sinbad, for instance, you go on these voyages and he gets better the more voyages you have in your discard pile, right? So it's just neat to have little bonuses that change the game based on who you're playing, enough to where you want to play with all of the characters. So that's Unmatched. I'm a huge mark for this game, a huge fan. I love the way this plays. It plays very smooth. Let's talk about the base game before the restoration side of it. I always loved just how fun it was to take 2 characters that you love playing and love seeing and pit them together, right? Pit them against each other. Hadn't played HeroClix, hadn't played, Warhammer, any of these types of games. It was just this game where you picked a person and I picked a person and we fought using this card system, right? So the card system was very simple. You can maneuver, you can scheme, or you can attack. Basic stuff, but everyone has their own unique deck. That alone is so cool, right? This really does that well. It brings it back. You're playing these legendary characters. Instead of playing Star Wars characters, you're playing legendary characters, right? So King Arthur, Medusa. I love that. I think that's really cool because you get away from any kind of IP worries, right? Now, granted, they've introduced Bruce Lee and Bigfoot. Yeah, that makes sense together. Pit them against each other, but that's the whole point, is legendary fighters throughout history. So who knows who we're going to see in the future, right? I mean, depending on what kind of rights and things and issues we get, we could see any number of people. You could see Freddy versus Jason in this thing, for goodness sakes, right? Everybody has their own deck of cards, unique art. Let's put a pin in that for a second, talk for just a second about art. The art in this game is fantastic. It looks really good. The only really kind of weak spot, not really weak, would be the board. It's pretty simple, it's pretty straightforward, but it's functional, and that's the point. But the art of the cards looks like, those board game posters that they do? They're like Agricola, the poster, and it's like, or Galaxy Trucker, and it's like the Galaxy Girl Trucker. It's really cool art. That's what this reminds me of for the cards. The art is just really fancy. It's really stylized art on the cards, on the backs, and everything like that. So the miniatures, the 4 miniatures you get, they have a wash on them already, so they already look good. Easy to paint. Good colors can be put on there. Some nice intricate detail to pop, but the miniatures alone already look good, so that's a win for the game in the first place, right? So all in all, complete total package. We've covered art, it's fantastic. We've covered mechanics, it's simple, it's easy, it's direct. It might find you to be you might find it to be a little bit too simple at times. However, I'm gonna say that I enjoy this not just because of the nostalgia it gives me from the original, but also because the game is a simple fighting game on a board that doesn't overcomplicate it with too much voltage and junk and stuff to be like, well, wait, what this does this, and I key that off of here. It's quick and dirty fighting, 2 people, one-on-one, picking characters throughout history. The mechanics just work, having that unique deck. Plus, some of them come with their own little pogs, which I love, that are plastic discs to pick. You have oh gosh, my mind is just complete. Merlin and King Arthur and things like that. So it's nice to have those different mechanics for each fighter and how they play completely differently, while still feeling similar to the Unmatched system. So mechanics are very tight, they're very simple, they're very easy to get to the table. It's fast. You can play it in teams. So art, mechanics, both wins. Presentation is a win. The only thing you might not like is the fact that you only get 4 fighters to start with, and that it will expand over time. But that is the nature of the beast today. And it does mean, though, that you could see some incredibly cool combinations coming soon. Have no clue what's coming. I have no clue what's coming down the pike as I record this October of 2019. Have no clue what's coming. I do know, though, that this works and it's ready and just ripe to see other history. I'd love to see Robin Hood. I think that's one coming, actually. Don't hold me to that. I'd love to see that, Robin Hood and people like that. It would just be amazing to see some really cool, a Wild West character, man, just so unmatched, just untapped potential in this game. So it's a win for me. Definitely go out and check Unmatched. It's so good. It's a cool game. If you're not a fighter, this one's not for you, though. If you like Euros, this one's not for you. If you do like that quick Amerithrash fighting with more deterministic combat than dice, this one's a definite win for you. I'm Brian Drake here on the Dice Tower. So glad to get to go back to my childhood of playing Star Wars Epic Duels in this new form of Unmatched. Go check it out. It's so good. I'm Brian Drake here on the Dice Tower. Make sure to follow us on Twitter, Instagram at Dice Tower Brian. And until next time, we'll see you.
Thanks so much for watching another Dice Tower video. If you enjoy our videos, subscribe to the channel for more fun, comprehensive board game coverage. Also, consider joining us at one of our events. Come to Dice Tower Retreat, a small, intimate gathering where gaming is king. Join us for Dice Tower Cruise, the largest board game cruise. Attend Dice Tower West in Las Vegas for gaming fun on the West Coast, or Dice Tower East in Orlando in sunny Florida. Dice Tower Conventions, the friendliest gaming conventions on Earth. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower.